Okay, welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making some Halloween styled gates. Now I have had a few requests from a few people asking me to make certain things and do tutorials on those. So I'm going to be looking into doing a few tutorials on gaming, and I'm also going to be looking at doing a few tutorials on map making as well. So depending on your PC and depending on how much detail you want to put into that is dependent on whether you can make the entire project. So I'm going to try and make some projects where maybe it's a little, how do I put this, a little less strain on the CPU, so to speak, in the graphics card. So what we're going to do today is the Halloweeny Gothic styled gates. So what we're going to do, we might actually need this default cube, so I'm going to start with this. Let's go to edit mode. I'm just going to go on to the face option just at the top right here, and let's go with the screencasting keys. Yep, okay, so what we need to do, let's go with G and just bring this up. This is going to be one of the side pillars for the gates in particular. What we're going to do, let's go with a side view so you guys can see what's going on. I'm just going to press 1 on that one. Okay, so when we do the top right here, we're going to go with E for extrude. Just pull this out. S to scale outwards. It's got that nice little bump coming up. I'm just going to press G and just make that a little bit taller. And then we're going to go with E for extrude again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go S first. Scale this up a little bit, E for extrude. And then we'll go E for extrude again. And we will scale inwards. Just as such. I'm just going to press G and just bring that up just a little bit. And then I'm going to go E for extrude again. Keep it where it is. Scale it in. And then we'll go E for extrude just to bring this up to the top. And then E for extrude just to round that off so it looks a little bit weathered. So, once you've got something like this, what we can do now is we can go with, let's go object mode again. We'll go add. And we're going to add a sphere. So UV sphere. Should appear at the bottom just here. Just press G to bring it up. And we're going to place this on top just here. So what we can do with this is we can scale this down. Shade this smooth. Can have some of those really fancy kind of gothic kind of gates. I'm just going to go ahead and go into edit mode real quick, and I'm going to look underneath. So what we're going to need is the toggle X-ray just to see underneath here. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and take all of the faces just at the bottom right here. Now obviously you're selecting these ones at the side right there. So what I'm going to do, just take off the toggle X-ray. If you can see this, just pull the sphere up slightly. We're just going to go E for extrude and just bring this down. So you've got it like this. So the next part of this, let's go ahead and go to object mode again. We'll go to the stand and then edit mode. And what we're going to do is take the front and the back. So front and back are both selected, or sides even. See, if I press 1 like this, that's the front. So if we go front and then shift and click the back, we can go E for extrude again, scale it inwards. So this will be pretty flat at this point. We'll press G, just move it up just ever so slightly. And what I'm going to do is S for scale, just to bring it in just as such. So you should have something like this. What we're going to do, press S for scale, and we're just going to go outwards to make this flat. So now we've got both sides that are flat-ish. Okay, so I'm just going to press S for scale. Just going to scale this outwards just ever so slightly. And what I'm going to do, S again, and we'll go forward just ever so slightly. So we've got that nice little wear and tear. So we've got this nice little bit that's coming out here. E for extrude again. Keep it where it is. S for scale. Bring it in. We're going to scale upwards. Oops. Bit too much there. So scale upwards just about there. Scale inwards just about here. Scale outwards again. Just to make that flat. And then we're going to go E for extrude, leave it where it is, S for scale, and then just bring it in. So now we have this kind of motion going on. Yeah. So you can do some designs on here, some different things. You can go ahead and Control R and make some loop cuts if you wanted to, and then just kind of pull some of this detail out. We could actually do that now, actually. Let's go Control Z. I'm just going to go ahead and just scale this inwards just a little bit so we can get some more of that detail in there. So now we should be like this. Let's go Control R. Scale this up a little bit, and what we're going to do, take some of the faces and we'll go this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and we'll just go in a pattern just down the side, just here. Ba, ba, ba. Maybe not that one. There we go. Just hold shift as you're clicking them. E for extrude. S for scale. Should be able to pull those vertices out. If you can't, we can go E for extrude again, and we can go G and just move those to the front ever so slightly. And then what we can do is S for scale. See if we can just bring that out just a little bit. Apparently not, but for the front of this looks great. Now if you were going to go to the back, you could do the same. So we could go ahead, just select every two. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the version of Blender you have. So E for extrude again, S for scale, and then we could just press G and just bring these out. So yeah, I think it depends on the version of Blender you have, because sometimes I do things on Blender and then it doesn't respond and I'm like, why is it doing that? Okay, so the next part that we can do right here is we can go ahead and make the other side of the gate. So if you take this object right here, or objects, because you've got 1 and 2, we could go ahead and we could place material right here. Let's press plus. So this will be a base material, and then we could go ahead and we could edit a few things with this one if we wanted to. So just leave that one blank at the moment. And we've just got the base right here. So this will be the base, let's go base color. Okay, so let's go Shift D, bring this across. Also select this one as well. So Shift D, bring these across. Select the ball on top and just go to the drop down right here to base color for both of them. So now we're going to start making the gate. So what we need to do with this, we need to find the midpoint within the gate. So if you've just done what I've done, which is in the middle, you can go ahead and you could use that if you wanted to, but if you really wanted to measure it out, let's press Control Z. Right, so we've got the correct texture on this. Let's select them both. And we're going to go Shift D, and you can press 1, and that will put that next to it. But if you press 10, you'll have this. And if we go, maybe we could go 12, just about here. So what you should have in the middle is 6. So let's go ahead and add a cube, and we're just going to make our mid-center right here. So let's go ahead, elongate that, just scale it down a little bit. And what we can do is we can go G, move it across, and press 6. Now this should be the center of our gate, and as we can see, we have equidistance on each side. So using this one as the marker, we can now make the gates on one side potentially, and then we can flip them for the other side. So let's see, we will go with a pointy kind of gate look. So I'm going to go with cylinder. I'm going to press G, move it, let's go with 3, so it's just in the center. And what I'm going to do, I'm kind of making this the opposite way on this side. So if we turn this around, let's move this outwards just a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and scale this down. I'm going to go ahead and scale this up. And what you want to do is you want to make a texture for this as well. So I'm just going to press G, make sure that this is just around the line just here. So you see this line that's at the bottom right here. What we're going to be doing is putting a wall next to this piece. You want your gate in line with this, but you want it slightly higher so it doesn't scrape the ground, essentially. So it's physics at the end of the day. So make sure this is nice and tall. And you can do this any way that you would like. You can put this up, put this down. So what I'm going to do, let's see, we'll make a nice little spike at the end of this. So I'm just going to go shade smooth. We'll go to edit mode. Take the end right here. And what we're going to do, we'll make this into a nice little pike. Right there. Let's go with E for extrude. Just pull it out just a little bit. Give it that nice little bevel. E for extrude, leave it where it is. Scale it outwards. And then we're going to go E for extrude. And then E for extrude. And we'll just bring this in. So it's got a nice little point. So what you're going to want to do at this point is we go to edit mode. Make sure you shade smooth. We'll go to the materials tab right here. And what I'm going to do, let's see. Let's put this material as a new one. New material. And we're just going to go with black railing. Black railing for this one. And what we can do, change this to a nice deep grey. Maybe turn up the metallic a little bit. Just so it's got that nice little kind of shine to it. If you haven't already, change out your EV cycles. So you should have this nice little shine coming through on the render tab right there. So what I'm going to do. So you've got side view right here. So we have, we put this 12 paces apart. And we've put this as a 6. This is a 3. So what we're going to need to do is we'll go with Shift D. And I think we should be 1.5. We should be roughly. My brain's not braining today. 1.5 on that side. And we can go Shift D. And you want to press minus 1.5 on this side. And then what I'm going to do, let's press G. And I'm going to bring these down a little bit so we've got a nice little arc coming through. G, just bring this down, make sure it's kind of like an angle going upwards. Okay, so we got the 1.5. Let's go with 1 second. I want to get the measurements right on this one. So we had 1.5 and then we are dividing by 2, so that will be 0.75. So let's go with this one and we'll go Shift D. And we're just going to type in 0.75. That should be about halfway there. For this one, we'll go with Shift D. You want to change it to this side. So we're going to go minus 0.75. And then for this one, we're going to go again, Shift D, minus 0.75. And then from here, what we can do is press G, bring this down so it roughly sits in the middle, just about here. This one roughly sits in the middle of these two, just about here. And then this one can go a little bit higher because it's the center of the gates. Or at least one of the centers of the gates. Let's go Shift D, move this across, and we are 0.75 even. What was it at? 7.5 should be like that. Okay, so let's press G, bring this up. And what I'm going to do with this one is just move it slightly to the side because this is the center right here. And I want a little bit of space just here. So we can move these two just a little bit over. So now what we have is this issue of overhang at the bottom. So to fix the overhang right here, what I'm going to do, Let's go to side view on this one. I'm going to go ahead and go to edit mode. So each one of these should roughly line up here, but we need that little bit of space. So let's select the face at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and press G. And I'm going to bring it up. So if I go ahead and just put this into perspective for you guys. So you've got the end of the pillar right here. Let's go G, bring this up. And maybe we could go roughly just under the red line, just here. And then we're going to go object mode, go on to your next one, edit mode, take the base face, press G, and we'll bring it up to roughly the same line. And then we'll go on to the next one and do the same with this one. So it's also trial and error a lot of the time with what you're doing. So if you make something and then you can kind of go, okay, yeah, I don't like the length of that, let's go ahead and amend it. Let's go G. Right there. And then we've got 3 more just here as well. Let's go ahead and amend that one. Just about there. And then we've got this last one right here. We're going to go G, just bring that up. So they're roughly the same size. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you imagine a gate's been set out there for a while. Maybe some of it's rusted, some of it's fallen off. Bits of it have been damaged. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be perfect. So the next bit that we want to do is make kind of little arches, put some bars across here, maybe make it a little bit more gothic. So what I'm going to do with this is add, and we'll go with cylinder again. Press G, bring it across. We're going to go rotate 90 degrees, scale this down. Make sure that this is roughly the same size as the bars that we've just made. It could be a little bit bigger. Could be a little bit smaller if you wanted it to, but roughly the same size. So we're just going to go S, scale this out. Just go ahead and make sure that this fits on either side. What we could do, because bars naturally wouldn't go between, what they do is they'd solder them on the side just here. So don't put them directly in between, and what you could do is just press G. And just for example, we could go with Shift D and we can move this across. So there's 2 bars on either side. Not only does this give your gate a little bit of depth, it also gives it a little bit of detail. Can't get my words out today. It gives it a little bit of depth and it gives it a little bit of detail. So you could do something else as well. You could go ahead and squish these down if they're too chunky. So if we just take that one off and amend it, we can go scale, and we can go ahead like this. So it's a nice little thin bar that goes across. For the material, we go to drop down and just select black railing. And this is what it should look like. So now we've got this nice little black railing kind of coming into fruition. Excuse me. I'm just going to press G, bring this down. So we can kind of box off the bottom there. I'm just going to go ahead, click Shade Smooth. Let's go with Shift D, and we'll move this across to the opposite side as well. Give it that little bit of thickness. And then I'm going to take these 2 bars right here, and I'm just going to press Shift D, move these up to a midpoint. And then from here, maybe we could go ahead and we could go Shift D, pull these up, and then scale this in. Let's press G into the center just there, and kind of have this kind of half bar coming across. So maybe just about there, and then scale outwards just at the sides. So now we've got this nice little half bar coming across, this nice little bar at the bottom right there. Let's see. And as well, these structures that you kind of see with gates and stuff, they have a centre pole that's a little bit thicker. So we could go ahead and change this one as well. Although we've moved this, we could go ahead and amend this and make this a little bit thicker at the sides as well, for handles and stuff. So, let's go ahead and add a cube. Actually, no, let's go ahead and add a cylinder. I think it'd look way better with the cylinder. Let's press G. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll rotate this by 90 degrees. So 90 right there. Scale this down. This can be a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker depending on your preferences. Totally up to you. But make sure that you've got this against the bar at the side. Scale this down. We're just going to go ahead and move this just to there. And I'm going to go for edit mode. And what we're going to do with this, we can go, let's take this face right here, E for extrude, and we're just going to press G, bring it up, E for extrude, press G, bring it up, and we're just going to make a little arch, E for extrude, bring it to the next bit, G, bring it up. So try and follow the arch of your spikes on this one. So E for extrude, bring it across. We're going to go G, bring it up. Then E for extrude, bring it across. And then G will bring this up. E for extrude, bring it across. And you kind of get the pattern of what I'm doing here. E for extrude. And then we're going to go G, bring it up. So at the other side, it kind of looks a little bit deep on the angle right here. So what I'm going to do, let's take this piece right here. I'm just going to press G and I'm just going to bring this down just ever so slightly so that it doesn't arch as much. And I'm just going to extrude it at the end and just kind of scale it off a little bit. What you can do is if your angle is a little bit too sharp on this side, you can press the X-ray mode. And then you can go ahead and select that angle and just change it to where you need it to be. So if we just go on to the points right here, take these points in the middle, and we just press G, just bring it up as such. So once we've got this part, and I'm going to just take this end one and just arch it down just a little bit so you've got that nice little arch going on. You can also do Control R in the middle right there. Just press G. And you can arch the centerpieces as well. So you can have some little wacky patterns going across here as well. Let's go with object mode real quick. I'm just going to go to the drop down and black railing. Let's go Shift D. So let's go Shift D right across there. Just go ahead and shade smooth for both of these objects. Then take both of these objects, this one and this one. And we're just going to go ahead and Shift D it again and bring it down. So it's got that nice little kind of crisp arch coming through. So on this part we're nearly finished with the gate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one right here, Shift D, bring it across. I'm just going to elongate it slightly and then bring it in. So this is going to be where maybe the key lock is. And we're just going to go ahead and, Shift D that again. And just bring that across. So this is probably where the gate locks up. So what we can do with the center point right here, we can actually add to this. So I'm going to go Shift D again. And as I said in the prior one, this needs thickening up on one side. So let's go with G, bring this into the center right here. Let's see, scale outwards. And then I'm going to go with edit mode, select the base face. I'm just going to press G, bring this down all the way to the bottom guard. So you've got it like this. And then what we can do, just make sure that lines up. You can go E for extrude and just scale that down so that it's flush. And this particular piece, we're going to go to the drop down menu in the materials section, black railing. You can scale this outwards just ever so slightly as well. So it should look something like this. And then what I'm going to do, we need some hinges. So let's take this one right here at the front. Let's go Shift D. Let's duplicate it, scale it down. So you have something like this. And then we're going to go G, bring it across. And make sure this fits between the pillar and the gate, and you can scale this outwards just slightly as well. This is going to be the hinge. So you can have your hinge there, and then we can go Shift D, have another hinge just at the side right here, or maybe we could lower that one just a little bit. Maybe we could go Shift D, one in the middle. It's got some nice hinges. And if you were animating this, you would just leave the hinges where they are and then have the gate as the object that moves. So let's do the other side. Let's take this divide out in between. Just go ahead and delete that one. And what we should be able to do is take all of this, if we box select it, minus your camera off and minus your light. Just double click for those. We go Shift D, move this across. Now this is the point where I get it wrong, because I choose the wrong option. So if we just move it across to this part, just where it fits and sits, we can right click and then we can go mirror, and it should be, if I get this right, it should be Z local. No, it's not Z local. Let's try again. This is the part where I struggle. Let's see, Z global. I mean, it's flipped, but it's not where we want it to be. It's going to take you a while to try and figure this out. Let's go Y global. Okay, X global. Yeah, there we go. Right, X global. So, just take it and just place it to the side on that part right there. So, doesn't have to be perfect. Not everything's perfect, but you have a nice little gate going on. Let's go ahead and add a plane, just to give this a little bit of depth. This is a great build for gaming, by the way. If you're building games or anything like that, you could have like little areas with gated off stuff. You could also go ahead and take this. Maybe we could go Shift D, bring this across, scale this down a little bit. G, maybe like a locked gate kind of theme. So we just go like that. It's kind of like it's locked. You can't get to this section of the game. So yeah, the next bit to build would be essentially a wall coming down the side of it, and maybe some more railings as well. So what we can do, let's go with add, and we'll go cube. Press G, just bring it up to where you need it to be. Just bring it across. Scale it, slide it, just like that. Maybe make it a little bit thinner so we can go S for scale. Let's go in. There we go. Just make it a little bit thinner than the pillar itself. Let's go G, bring this across. And what we can do with this, you can either make this as a little bit of a stone wall, or you could add a brick texture to it. To be honest with you, I'm going to make this a stone wall today, so we'll go E for extrude, scale outwards at the side. You can make this a little longer if you need to. I would say stay in flush with the pillar itself, so we could go with, let's see, S for scale. Pull that in just ever so slightly, and then E for extrude, and then E for extrude again, and then scale it inwards, just as such. So I just take this off X-ray mode for 2 seconds. You've got this nice little wall that's coming through right here. What I would suggest is don't clip the edge of it. So this is kind of clipping right here. You see how this is kind of going into the side. So what I can do to solve that is we can go object mode and we could just go and move this. You want that nice little gap that goes in between, because naturally walls will generally be made as like, so you put brick to brick rather than brick going over brick. So, yeah, just leave that little bit of a gap. It kind of makes it look like it's been built in two different parts. So you've got the wall there, you've got this here. We go Shift D, duplicate it. And again, we just want that little gap right there. So once we've got this, if we go into the render mode, right here, we can kind of see what's going on. Obviously there's no sun at the moment. We've got a lamp. Let's go G. Bring this across. Maybe we can make this sun. And just pull the exposure down just a little bit, because that's way too much exposure. Maybe make the sun a little bit yellow as well, so you've got that nice little natural hue. And then we can go alpha rotate and just kind of mess around with these shadows a little bit. Oops. Oi. They're going everywhere. Trying to find that perfect point. It's looking a bit gamey at the moment. So, yeah, we've got this little bit right here. So, what we need to do is add some texture to essentially the pillars that we have right here. So, we could go to shading. Let's go with render just for a moment so we can see what's going on. We have principal BSDF and we have material output. Now, we can use a noise texture, or we could use one of these other textures right here. You've got sky texture, Voronoi texture. Voronoi texture, I would say, if the wall is cracked, you could have this in the background. So I would say Voronoi texture, we could go with roughness. But you're going to need a bump texture with this. So let's go bump and add this to it. It's not going to show up straight away, but what it is micro details. So say like you've got like small scratches on glass or something like this. Voronoi is excellent for doing stuff like that, as long as you're putting it into the roughness or the metallic. So it'll show up in little bits all over. So if you had, say, like limestone or something like that, Voronoi texture is great at making kind of a limestone kind of texture, as long as you can get it to work with your object as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get rid of these real quick. Let's go with add, and we'll go to noise texture. Color to base color. You see that we've got all these lines going on there as well. This is great for, say, like weathering and stuff like that. So you can put that into your roughness, you can put that into your metallic. Today we're going to put this into just the color, so I'm just going to go with bump. Place this in the middle. We're going to go color with height. Generally, I think it should work on most of the blenders, but this particular one doesn't want to do it. So we're going to have to do it the opposite way. Let's go color ramp first. It's spitting out its dummy. It doesn't like to do that. So let's go with color base, and we're going to go with color from noise texture to FAC. And now we get this nice little rough texture going on. If we improve the black on here, we can see that we get more staining. If we improve the whites, you can see that it brightens up a little bit. And if you bring both of them together, it contrasts. So, depending on how you'd like the rock to look, you could do different things. So we could go plus with this, and we could go with this third colour of a green. So say like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's in the middle of a swamp or something, and I don't know, it's been left for years and no one's cleaned it, and this is just like swamp stuff that's kind of grown on it, like there's mold and stuff like that. We could scale this up as well, like multiple molds. You could have it like this, maybe a little bit of staining from the trees and stuff. You could take this white maybe it's no longer, maybe it's like an industrial place or something, and I don't know, smog and stuff has discoloured it. Maybe it's next to a road, pollution. I don't know, whatever you want to do with your piece, it's totally up to you. Just tell the story, I guess. So I'm just going to put mine as regular stone at the moment, and we're going to go back to that bump texture that wasn't working. So within my version, I have to do the colour ramp first, and then I can put the bump in, and we'll go colour to height. So what the bump texture essentially does is it's supposed to make indents and stuff, but for some reason it just doesn't want to work. So we're definitely on cycles. Yeah, definitely on cycles. For some reason, I don't know why the newer versions do this, but sometimes, like, I think it's a little bit of a glitch within mine. I might have to re-download. But yeah, you can get small issues like that. So what I'm going to do, let's go with a bit of distortion, just to kind of pull some of those details in. I'm just going to pull the black back, just ever so slightly. Maybe just about there. Pull the white forward and maybe make it a cream, a bit more creamy. Yeah, that's great. So this would be great for, say, like churchyards and stuff like that. You'll notice that the same texture is now on the balls as well as this one, because we did this before. We put them at the same texture. So with these walls as well, what we can do is we can go ahead, go down to the drop down, and we can go base color on this one, and we could go base color on this one. But where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? I think I might have base color at the top and at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is let's go to layouts real quick, and let's go and edit a few things. So if we take this wall right here, we can go to edit mode, take your front face, your side face, and this face right here, and we're going to go to plus. We're going to click new, and this new material is going to be brick. So what we can do, click assign, and then what we can do, I'm going to compare this wall to this wall, and we'll see how we can make this look. So this is totally dependent on how you'd like your projects to be. So we've got the original wall right here that we had, which looks really dull, boring, and then we've got this one that we're going to amend. So what we can do with this, we've got Principled BSDF and a material output right here. We're going to go add, and we want a texture. We're going to go to brick texture, color to base color, and you'll see that you get a lot of lines here. Now, depending on which way this is facing, depends on which way the lines are going to go. Unfortunately, this one for some reason just wants to go sideways, but that's okay. We can amend the mortar size. We can do whatever we need to. Maybe on this one we've got some vertical kind of bricks going on. Maybe it's a fancy pattern or something like that. If your bricks are going sideways, brilliant. Mine aren't. So I'm just going to make this as a nice funky pattern. Right, so we've got this right here. We can go to add, we can go to color ramp. Stick this in the middle. And we could go ahead and just make some little textures in here and outside of it. So we could go plus. We could have maybe a little bit of staining. Let's go with kind of a yellow kind of stain. Going with that one. Maybe just darken it in places as well. And we can also do, let's add a noise texture. We go to colour, and we can go to colour 1. This will give us a little bit of texture on these parts, a little bit of weathering as well. Smarter size, we could take this down to maybe, instead of 0.02, we could go 0.01. It's a little bit thinner. We can go ahead and add a bump texture to this as well. Maybe try it on this side. Okay. Yeah. Let's move this to this side. Oops. So you want to go colour to base colour. Take this off. Oops. So you want to go colour to height with this one. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that one. Normal to FAC. Should be able to do something with that, but to be honest with you, for some reason it just doesn't want to work. Yeah, I mean, you could just do your texture the way that it is. So let's go Shift D, move this down. We could go colour to colour 2. And you can scale this upwards or downwards depending on what you want. Take the roughness in a little bit. And what we can do as well, we can add some browns to this, some greens. Maybe just there. Just on the opposite side. Make this a little bit of a deeper tone. Yeah, so we've got something like that. So it's got these little patterns on there. It's got some nice little cream tones. I think most of this you kind of have to experiment with, because sometimes things don't go the way that they plan out to be. So say roughly about that texture should be okay. To be honest with you, I'm going to go back a little bit because I like the other texture. I kind of like this deep kind of brown. Let's go scale this up just a little bit. Give it that little variant. And then I'm just going to go ahead and scale the opposite side as well. Just to add a little bit more texture that's different from the other one. So with this top piece here right as well, what we could do, let's go to layout real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and just save this because it's getting a little bit slow. I would recommend you save this. So let's go with gates. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the texture on this one as well. Let's go to materials. What you want to do is go to edit mode, and to select the base colour, all you need to do is go on to base colour, select, and then it should highlight the base colour. What we're going to do, plus, and we're going to go new, and we'll say that this is a darker brick. Oops. Okay, I missed the key, 1 second. Yeah, my computer's slowing down like real quick. So let's go darker one. Let's put darker in there, seems to work. So what we can do now is click assign, and then we can make this kind of like a black as well. So what you want to do, make sure you don't select these ones at the bottom either. So you just want these at the top. Let me just go off render mode just for 2 seconds. Let's go shift, just deselect these ones. You want the darker assigned to this one. So, and maybe just click that one off at the back, but that's okay, we don't really need that one at the moment. So the darker one, we could go ahead, we can have a little bit more roughness on there. And what we can do with this as well, we can go ahead and add a noise texture. So colour to base colour. You got all these little bumps going on. Add a colour ramp. Don't let me. Come on. You see how slow my computer's going at the minute. Right, let's go and add. And then we go colour ramp. Let's make that nice and contrast. Scale this up. Let's maybe pull this across just a little bit so it's kind of like you've got this nice little roughness on there, but it's not too much. Okay, so compared to the gate opposite, we can see that we've got a lot more detail within this gate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one on this side, and then we can go ahead and just duplicate this one over onto this side. So once we've done this again, just make sure this isn't clipping, make sure there's like that little nice gap going on that we spoke about before, and we can put this in the way. Now for these pillars in the middle, what we can do, edit mode, you see the ones that are already selected are the ones that are sticking out. So what you want to do is select the ones that are on the inside, basically doing a reverse Uno. I missed one. And we can do this to the opposite side as well. So what we're going to do, these ones in particular, we'll press plus, down menu, and we'll go darker, assign. So now, when we go to the object mode, we'll have it like this. Now that's totally up to you whether you want to do something like that, but it's an option that you can have. Because the alternative is like this. Totally up to you if you want to do that and just enhance those a little bit, but if you just want the brick like that, you can have it like that. So the next bit that we could do is, let's go for the base that we've made right here. We could go ahead and go to shading tab again. Got our little gate right here. We can go new with this one, add, and then we're going to go brick texture. So the brick texture right here, color to base color. See that you get some lovely little bricks, but they're a little bit too big. So we're just going to go ahead and scale these down. Now, you do have the option here of making the bricks individually, or you can go ahead and you can use a background for this. So, what I would suggest, if your computer is more high-end, then you could make individual bricks for this. It would look great. If your computer's more of a lower-end computer, stuff like this is probably going to be easier on your processor. So, yeah, you could do your brick texture right here, and you've got all your little individual bricks. So I'm going to do it both ways so that you guys can see what's going on. But first I'm going to add some trees, and I'm going to add the background as well. So, you've got the basic bricks there if you want them. For this particular build, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these railings right here, and I'm just going to make a little railing run just at the side right here. So we can go ahead and Shift D with this one. Move this to the side. Now you could have that little arc again if you wanted to, but to be honest with you, I'm just going to keep it the way that it is. So let's go G. It doesn't matter if it goes through the floor at this point because you're not going to see it. I'd say that's roughly the same height. Okay, let's go with Shift D, and I think we're -1. Select them both, Shift D, and then we can go -2. Select them both, Shift D, -4. Select them both, Shift D, -8. You're just doubling every time, or at least you should be. That one didn't work, apparently. Yeah, you got those ones. These, and these. Shift D, -8. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then you've got that extra one that's just sitting on the edge, or extra 2 even. We're just going to go ahead and delete those. Take all of these, box selects them, and you can go ahead and just like arrange them on the other side. To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter at this point whether they're straight or not. Absolutely perfect. What we can do, take these off. We can make the bars that go across first, and then we can duplicate them. So if we take this one on this side and this one on this side, you see on the two sides of the gate right here, we can go Shift D, we can move this across, and then we can just elongate this. So G, moved into center right there, S for scale, G, moved across. Let's go and place that into the actual wall. You could have the overhang if you wanted to, and then I'm going to go Shift D and then bring these up like that. So now all we need to do, whilst on side view, box select, take all of these and duplicate them over to the opposite side as such. So when we have the render on, we should see something like this. Nice little gates going through. So the next bit that we could do, you could have an overhang arch here if you wanted to. I think we should make one actually. Let's see. The best way of doing this, let's go to add, and we'll go with circle. Press G, and we were 6 in the middle, so let's press 6. Get that nice in the middle just there. You see how we've got the little O-ring right there, the little circle. Let's go R for rotate. We'll rotate this 90 degrees, and we'll press S to scale this up just to the sides, G to bring this up, and now we have this little arch that's coming across the top right there. Now we want to get rid of this bottom part, and we also want to make this a kind of archway, so we're going to press F for fill, and what I'm going to do is let's go for E for extrude. E for extrude. You just bring this across right here, and we're going to go E for extrude on this side, bring this across right here. Make sure it's covering both sides of the gates as such. And what we can do is take this middle one right here, this middle face, we'll press delete faces. Again, delete faces. If we've got the side view right here, we could go box select. And you want to basically delete all the faces on this side. So, let's go for X-ray mode right here. So you want this face all the way to this face on the opposite side. Let's go with that again, sorry. So click one of your faces right here. You want to go Shift, Control. And you just want to get rid of this side. So that should be, I think, one more up. Yeah, just about. So let's press D right here. We'll go faces. We're going to press A to select everything. E for extrude. Bring this up. And then what we can do is object mode, shade smooth. You can go ahead and scale this out if you want to, just to elongate it. Just press G. Bring this over the top of the fence just here. And we're just going to go, I'm just going to scale it in just to try and get that nice little arch going on. And then we can press, let's go with drop down first, black railing. Then we go Shift D. And I'm just going to start to put these over the top. Just kind of like little nice archways just here. And what you could do with this, you could put some more detail in there too. So maybe we can make these a little bit thinner. Just scale these down. It's got that nice little bar coming across the top. Let's go add cube. G. It was 6 in the middle. So let's press G and bring this up. Scale this upwards. Scale this down. Press G right here. You could have some circles in here if you wanted to as well. Nice little design. Go to your drop down. We want darker in the middle. Let's go Shift D. Let's go 3 in the middle there. Let's go G, bring this down. And you want to go with Shift D, bring this across, and I think we were 1.5, weren't we? So minus 1.5, just in the middle right there. And this one, Shift D, move across, and you want 0.5, sorry, 1.5, where am I going 0.5? 1.5, so you got the middle bit there, should have at least. Put that on the side. Something looks a little bit off with that. But yeah, we can go ahead, Shift D, minus 3. G in the center. Shift D again, and we want 1.5 in the center right there. Let's press G, bring it up. And then for this one, we want to go Shift D again, and minus that's 1.5. Yeah. I told you my brain's fried today. So now we've got this nice little archway that's going on. So, yeah, let's do a few trees. And I'll show you how to do the cobbles if you've got a more high-end PC that can handle it. So what I would suggest at this point is press save. File, save. And if you want to do the trees separately, we can press save as. So, let's see. So trees, we want to go to add, and it should be under curve, and then sample tree gen. If you don't have sample tree gen, go to the edit, preferences, and then from preferences, you can't see my pop-up right here, but go to, I think it's add-ons, and then just type in tree, and it should say the same as here. So curve, sample tree gen. And what you'll get in this is a tree will appear, and it'll be in the most awkward place because you can't see it. You can go ahead and go into X-ray mode. You can kind of see it right there. This sample tree gen menu is at the bottom right here. You could go ahead, load present. You can have willows. You could have Japanese maples. They're beautiful to work with, by the way, if you're interested. Weeping willow. You can do those as well. I think we'll go with weeping willows today. So make sure you don't click anything else but the box at the moment, because if you want leaves and you want to show leaves, we're going to have to put the leaves in. So what I would recommend, because this is a Halloween piece, and obviously with it being autumn or fall, the leaves are going to be on the ground. What I would suggest is put the leaves on the tree, and then we'll deal with the leaves afterwards. So let's see. I kind of like this tree the way that it is. It's going to select it all. What you're going to get is you're going to get the tree, and then you're going to get the leaves. So I'll just box select it. I'll select it all. Scale it upwards. What we can do is we can press G to bring this to the side right here. Maybe just imagine there's a path going through here. You're going to want to be able to get through. So with the trees themselves, you can see that you've got this right here at the back. We could go with materials. You could go ahead with materials and have this as a texture material with the noise if you'd like to, or you could just have general materials. It's totally up to you. It's your project. So we could go with, I'm going to turn the roughness up for this, and then I'm going to go with the leaves. New material. We can name this as fall, and I'm going to put these as orange, and I'm going to make them slightly metallic. So, what we can do with this, and this is a clever little trick that I have, the leaves themselves, if you put a noise texture onto them, you can actually have green and orange. So you kind of like that mid kind of fall look. Or if you want them orange and it's like going into winter, then that's an option that you can have as well. Depending on what you want is, you know, how we all do the materials. So you have this tree going on in the background, spooky, haunted kind of thing. We want some more shade and we want some more detail, so I'm going to go ahead and just put some detail on these trees. Do press save to save your work, please, I beg, because the last thing you want is to lose this. Let's go to the shading tab. We're going to add some texture to this tree. So click your tree. We'll go to add and we can go with color ramp. You're going to need color ramp for this one. Color to base color. And then add and noise. Noise texture. Color to FAC. And hopefully we should get some little texture going on. Look at all that little texture. Let's go plus and we're going to make this a nice little brown kind of shade. Just go ahead and temper that. Just about there. I think we'll pull the brown just over just a little bit and maybe just pull that black in just for that little bit of extra detail right there. Let's go ahead and change some stuff. Scale this up, scale it down, whatever you desire. So we've got that right there. Okay, so when we render this, we've got this nice little tree coming through. And because I was mentioning the leaves before, I'll show you how to do them. So, say you've got that mid-fall look, that mid-autumn look. So at the moment we just have orange. So if we take this right here, we go to add and we go noise texture. You want to go to color to base color. You'll notice if I click off this real quick, that if I scale this, you've got all these little points going on. You can kind of see the fuzziness. You can't really see it because the leaves are kind of too small on here. But let's go to add and I'll show you. Maybe it'll show up on color ramp. Let's place this in the middle. We want a green. So maybe we'll keep this grey throughout. And then we'll plus orange. And then you want to go plus again. Change this to green. Yeah, this is a nice light green, dark green, whatever like that. Essentially what you want to do, you see how they're all green right there, yeah? Like mostly. Move your orange across. You see how they change? So you kind of have this nice little pattern going on. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of the whites for a moment. So you just want this green and orange. And if we go scale with this, you see how that changes? Like all the colours are just changing on there. So if we move the green across, we have more green, orange, and we have that variation just coming in. So the more that you the more that you scale the noise texture, the more orange leaves you will have in theory, depending on how you have it set up, and the less you do the more green and orange it will be. So you'll have green over here, orange over here, green over here, orange over here. But the basically just experiment with it, see what you can do. So with these leaves in particular, we can see that we have fall, and I'm just going to put a V for variant. So when we're making the leaves on the ground, we can go ahead, take these leaves, we'll go Shift D, and we'll just bring them down, and I'm just going to squish them. Essentially. Squishy leaves. Come on. Let's go down again. Squish the leaves so that they're a nice pile. And make sure that the leaves are just sitting below the tree. So let's go about here. You can just about see them there. Let's go again. Squish these down. Maybe you could go ahead and scale them out just a little bit to give it more effect. And you can just see them on the ground just there. What you want to do is make sure that they're perfectly flat. Might take a little bit of tinkering with this. And what you can do for more leaves, Shift D and then rotate them round. But first I want to change the material. So what we're going to do, click the new material button right here. If you can see my mouse, just where it says Fall V, you should have a double page, new material. So then this will say Fall V001. So we don't want it fall variant. We want this fall, and we're going to go orange. So fall and O with this one. Remove the green. So just press the minus. These will all turn orange. So there you can see this kind of variation going on, if you can see that. Maybe make the orange a little bit brighter. And then you can go ahead and you can take away the grey. And then we can add maybe like a deeper orange, maybe like a red or something like that. Just to contrast that just ever so slightly. Click the leaves, Shift D, alpha rotate, and just rotate them round. Another click again, Shift D, put this in the middle, alpha rotate, and you're just building up the leaves essentially in the backdrop there. So Shift D, alpha rotate, oops, maybe don't rotate them sideways, lengthways, and now you've got this tree that's shedding its leaves. So you can take this this nice little shed that you've got right here. Just make sure you don't click the background. Take the tree, take the leaves, take everything that you've just made, and we can go ahead and we can Shift D, maybe alpha rotate just to give it that nice little variation, and then we can go Shift D, move these across to the opposite side, alpha rotate just to give it the variation so it doesn't look like it's cloned, and then Shift D, and then we rotate again. Now you can do this with 4 different separate trees by introducing TreeGen, but it depends on how much time you have to make your project. So it's just a little bit of time. Maybe TreeGen is not the way to do it. Maybe the way that I've just done it is the way that you would like to do it. So I'm just going to take the trees themselves and I'm just going to go ahead and just duplicate them on maybe the opposite side as well. So you got that kind of nice little spooky gate coming through. And we can also take the variation of all of these and just press G and just move them across so they're a little bit more central, but you kind of want that little imperfection. Almost like someone's planted the trees and they decided that they didn't want to grow straight, they kind of grew sideways or whatever like that. You could also take one of the particular trees and just place this as a variant so it's not quite, if we go to 7 to Heaven here, we can see that the trees are quite uniform right here. We can have that one little tree that's a bit off. Take this one, maybe we could press G, move this to the side. They didn't grow straight, you know, or maybe it's a forest, maybe like someone didn't maintain it for a while and this is what we've ended up with. Now, regards to trees being in the middle of a pathway, you probably wouldn't get trees growing like this, so we can go to add plane. Definitely you wouldn't have trees growing through brick. So let's go with this plane, scale this out. We'll go 7 to Heaven just for a moment. S, G to move this across, S to scale this up. I'm just going to go ahead and just make kind of like a fake kind of pathway. So with this we can go scale just on this side. Essentially what you want to do is go to the particles section, press plus, and instead of emitter we want hair. So you can see how all these little kind of hairs stick up right here. So this is going to be our grass. Grass is essentially the same as hair. So let's go with meters, bring this down. If you want messy grass, have it longer. If you want nice neat grass, keep it short. So we're going to do this grass. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of zeros to this. So we've got a nice thick lawn. Let's go to Materials tab. We'll go New. Change this to green. So it's going to be grass green. And as I said before, we can use that variation as well. So we can... Let's just name this as grass. And then what I'm going to do... Shading tab. We've got the grass right here. Add noise texture. So we can change this solid green to a variation. So again, we've got all these little nice colours on there. So let's go add and we'll go colour ramp. Place this in the middle. Go plus. We're going to go green. And because this is Halloween, we're going to make it slightly yellow. So kind of have like a deep green right there. We could go ahead. This one, kind of like an orangey green. Like the grass has kind of died a little bit. The leaves as well, that you've placed at the back, if you use, so if we go to edit mode, particle edit, you can actually use the particle edit to separate the grass so you see those leaves. I'll show you that in a moment. So let's go with whites right here. We will change this one to, we could do it like a dusty brown kind of thing. Okay, so we have this nice little variation of lawn. What we can do right here, let's see, we're going to go to the particle edit. This is where we left our leaves. So you can go ahead and just edit different bits. Just kind of wave the grass around a little bit. It might take a while because mine's taking a while. Let's go radius up a little bit. Just kind of move this grass, make it almost like the wind's blowing. Make it less uniform. You should be able to see the leaves through the grass. Yeah. So you could also take some more leaves and just place them on top if that's what you'd like. Totally up to you. Just mess up that grass. Get it going in random directions. Someone didn't cut this. Let's get rid of that. Pull that down a little bit. Get rid of that variation right there. Okay, so once we've got this nice little grass going on, what we can do is we can look at this through the rendered. Now this is what it looks like. If we go to when my computer catches up, come on. Come on, you can do it. Uh-oh. We have a non-responding. Alright. I'm just going to go to object mode. I think this computer is getting a little bit OTT overwhelmed. Let's go Shift D. Move this across to the side. We've got that nice little pathway going on. If you got to this bit, congratulations, because my computer's starting to slow down, so I can't imagine what's happening with everybody else's. Various different styles of PCs. So we'll go to layouts real quick. So we've got this nice little layout, the gates, we've got the trees right there, we've got the grass. And if we just hit the render button, this is what it should look like. It's a little bit too light for what I like. I mean, like, you could do a lot of different things with this. I mean, kind of for game design, it's pretty cool. I think that the grass, the triangles for the grass are a little bit too big, but that's okay because, you know, if you're using this as just little concepts, you can kind of go back in and just edit things. Yeah, I kind of like the way that this is going. My computer's really struggling with this. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to very, very quickly show you how to make some of the tiles at the bottom, and then I'm going to end this tutorial because it's taken a while. And I understand that I am very low on the camera right now because my chair's broken, and like I have the piston on my chair is so messed up. I'm slowly going down, so I'm going to get a new chair. This is insane. Like, I put myself like perfectly in the camera lens and then I disappear. Hi, I'm gonna be down here soon. Hi. So yeah, for as far as the tiles go, we could go add cube. This is just like a thing if you want to use this. Totally up to you. I would generally make sure you line this up with the bottom. So we can see that the bottom's right here. Just make sure there's underneath the gate, so to speak. Put this in. Let's go with shade smooth, and I'm just going to go with modifier. We'll go smooth with this. Shade that in a little bit. So this is how you do the tiling, so to speak, or the cobbles. We'll go 7 to heaven. I'm just going to press G, put this just outside of the gate right here, and then what we do is we just lay it as if it's bricks. So what I would suggest before you start duplicating things is add a texture. So let's go new texture, we'll call this brick. Maybe we could do this kind of like an offset white. Make it a little deeper. Let's go Shift D. Move this across. And essentially all you're doing is just placing it like bricks. So Shift D across. Just there. Make a row. Select all of this that you've just made. You can probably see it better there actually. This is the top view right here, this is side view. We'll go Shift D. Pull it across just like that, and then we'll offset this just to the middle. And then maybe you could go, you're going to have to duplicate again on the side just here. And maybe duplicate again on the side just here. Just to get those bricks in. Let's go again, Shift D. It's a little bit of fiddling, but it's, once you're done with it, it should look somewhat good. Don't worry if it doesn't look great the first time, because it is trial and error. You're learning. That's how you do it. Let's go ahead and select all these bricks that we've just made. So we needed that one. I think that's just slightly out. Just make sure they're not clipping each other. Let's go and select all of these bricks. Okay, I'm just going to double click anything that you didn't want. So the background right there. Okay, so all you need to do at this point is just Shift D, move this up, duplicate it there. Obviously you got some holes here, so let's go Shift D, move that across. And then we'll go Shift D on the side, move that across. Doesn't have to be perfect. All you need to do is just select these rows. I shouldn't do that, I'll probably get copyright strikes. Let's go with Shift D right here. Move this across. Shift D. Shift D. And then we just move it across. Just going all the way down, essentially. You can go ahead and select 2 rows if you wanted to. So, got all these. Just going across. And we're going to start doing some at the back as well. Let's see, I'm going to go 7 to heaven because I can't see what I'm doing. Let's go G, Shift D, Shift D. Doing them in small parts, to be honest with you, is a lot easier, I think. Because if you press backspace, then the computer's going to have less to contend with. Okay, you know, I'm going to leave it like that, but it's just an example for you guys. So, the bricks themselves, let's click off that. So when we've done that, this is how it should look if my computer will render it. So you can see that we have the bricks that we've just made here are a little bit more 3D than the bricks that the kind of node or mapping does. It's totally up to you, you know, what you want and stuff like that. For me personally, if I was doing this as a project for, say, something that I was going to produce, I would put a lot more detail into these bricks. But that is basically how you do it. For the grass as well, I would definitely change this. There's a lot of things that I would change about this project, but because this is a tutorial, this is what I wanted to show you guys what you can do with this. So yeah, I guess that's a tutorial today. And as well, with the leaves coming at the back, if we go to the opposite side where we actually do have the leaves, if I just change this out just real quick. So, say we were looking at it from this side right here. This is the side that we put the leaves on. We can see that we've got these nice little leaves coming through as well. So with the grass as well, I mean, you could change the grass because I personally don't like the way that the grass is